What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight we are talking a little bit more Big Brother. OG podcast Logan bails again, but we are talking week 8 in the Big Brother house. And we left off right before a double eviction happened. So, guys, what do we think about everything that happened up until the double eviction? So let's start where we were thinking it was America and Corey that were nominated by Jared. We were a little sad that Jared had won, HOH, but he nominates those two. And we were thinking, you know, if one of them comes down, Cameron's probably going to go up, and that's what happened. And he went home. Any shock there at all?
No, I thought I thought Cameron did a nice job making an argument to stay. But sometimes they can't listen. It's like they're not they can't adapt, right? You kind of see, like, I would never hire that person because they're not quick on their feet, right? They just have one thing in mind, and so that's what I took from it.
Yeah, it was kind of open and shut, which I also agree. I thought he kind of made a pretty valid case of I'm for hire, like I'll cause chaos. You know who I'm gunning for, and nobody really, took that kind of bait. Nobody took it, which in hindsight probably should have, because yikes. But Cam getting bounced 8-0, just, saw it coming. It's tough. I like Cameron. I've completely come around on him. So,
And he is still alive, but in zombie form. So we could talk about that. But next up, we go right into a live double eviction, the first of the season. Guys, going into this double eviction, were you like, it's probably going to be Jared if Cirie doesn't win? Because the competition was one of those ones where you pick who you're going to play up against. And I think you guys noticed that everybody was picking Cirie, trying to get her out of the competition, right?
I don't think Blue would have made that move yet, even though, like, she hinted at the fact that she was going to cut Jared, or, I was like, I don't think she's going to, I think she probably would have put up like Bowie and Mimi or something, like kind of like a nothing burger move. So I was kind of worried there that Blue was going to win. But yeah, I think it was very clear, the writing on the wall, as soon as everyone started going for Cirie, and it got real close there. I was like, oh shit, because Cirie bounced, I think, lost to Corey, but bounced Matt and somebody else, the first person who played against her, but it was real close.
You brought up Blue. I find her really disappointing lately because it's like besides the whole, like, the airs she puts on with the way that she talks, and like she's like, hey girl, and like, I'm a bad bitch, and then she like buckles down to, like, just buckles in front of Jared, and just like she comes, like, in her diary room, she talks about being so strong, and then she just folds so quickly in front of him, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But you know what? The other thing is that, and this may be going back a week. Did anybody think it was interesting when Cirie went to Jared when he was in bed, and she was going to have that moment, like that mother throwing herself in front of the bus, where she's like, "Put me up." He's in bed, and like it's almost like she wakes him up, and he's wearing really dark sunglasses, and she's wearing sunglasses. So there's this moment between a mother and a son. Like, I'm just thinking as a producer, right? So I'm watching this, like, a mother and son moment is about to happen. And it's like this sort of like tender, sweet moment, but they're both wearing sunglasses. That would drive me nuts if I was in the back room watching the feed, being like, I'm not even going to see a tear. I'm not going to see any sort of love in your eyes. Yeah. And it's just sunglasses. I thought it was strange.
That's the move that everybody does, is just wearing sunglasses. And I guess because I don't know why nobody can turn off a light or something, but I guess the lights don't go off. And
no. As you were talking, I just saw them on my desk. So.
Right. Perfect. I was like, that's a pretty nice thing for Cirie to do. I mean, obviously she wouldn't do that for anyone else, which, understandably so. It's very clear that Suri loves her child, but god damn it, dude. Ugh, he is the worst. He's like the worst, and it's crazy. And that whole, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was
all
really
right, so let me ask you this, Pat. Do you think Suri did that knowing that he wouldn't put her up, but
Yeah.
was thinking, I want to be the house guest, America's favorite house guest or whatever?
I think
that-
I think that definitely played into some of that. For me, I was like, that's really nice. Why would he do that? That's like, it's
Right.
the writing's all over the wall that you two are aligned together. Like, I know you're trying to throw off the scent, but no one would believe that for a second. It's like, and he's clearly not
Right.
going to do that. You talk all
Yeah.
summer about having each other's backs. I'll die for this. Throw me up? No, it's not. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So,
Right.
there is like some manufacturing there where I'm like, you can kind of see past it a little bit. It's like it kind of cheapens it a little bit, but I don't know. I still love watching Suri, but and for a second I was like, oh, cool. Now Suri's gonna be by herself. Let's see what she can do. She doesn't have to rely on her fucking idiot son. Not the biggest liability ever, but it started as such an unbelievable advantage, a crazy advantage, and then turned into the biggest shitstorm because he doesn't know how to play. So it was just, and for a second, you were like, oh, well, Suri gets to play the game now. No, never mind. Jared's going to fuck everything up again. But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So let's talk about, Corey was the one who was able to win the HOH. And he only has a few seconds, can only have a couple conversations. But one of the conversations of note, I think, was between Corey and Blue, where we get it in another episode where we get the full kind of conversation about, he is going to put up Blue because he doesn't want Blue to take Jared down in if she wins the veto. And she tries to lie and say that she would not do that, but he doesn't believe her, and he puts her up regardless of that, instead of putting up, Jared and Suri. What do you guys think of that in particular, that conversation? Also, once Jared comes back into the house, there's a conversation between Blue and Jared where she reveals that she knew what was happening and that he was getting targeted from the beginning. Another one of those Uncle Shane conversations that I think you were talking about, where she kind of folds to him. What did you think of, first of all, Blue in that pressure, situation, trying to get out of it, and then, talking to Jared when he comes back in?
So I think it was smart of Corey to stick with those nominations. I thought if he would have put up, the worst case scenario happens is that, and I think he saw through this, is if he puts up Jared and Suri and Blue wins, takes Jared down, he has to put up somebody else, which there is the option of none of them going home. So this was probably the only sure way that Jared goes home. If Suri wins, then the veto, then that's completely fucked. But the more players, and I think they knew it was going to be a physical comp, and I don't think Suri's ever going to win a physical comp. So, keeping Matt and Jag as like options, really, I thought that was a smart move. And I think, now looking back on it, it is smart because we know that Blue would have taken Jared off, and that would have been catastrophic. So good on Corey sticking with his gun. And when he won, oh my god, I was just in my bed going nuts. I was like, yeah, we're gonna, like, this is gonna get interesting. I was so happy that he won. And yeah, Blue just folds, and it sucks because Blue came in with such a confidence and this and that, and Splay Mama, boots house down, no man tells me nothing, and then Jared comes in saying, "Oh well, you knew." I was like, "Yeah, but so did you. What did you think was gonna happen?" Corey was just gonna be like, forget about the whole time that you like tried to lie and blow up my game. And first of all, nobody can talk to Jared. That's beyond, I'll give Blue credit. No one can talk to Jared. because he has this gravitas of, if he feels slighted even a little bit, win a game where there's backdooring and backstabbing, you have to lie. Shut the fuck up, okay? Sorry, but like, you're not. What is this? So him coming at Blue, be like, "Oh, I'm pressed with you. I'm pressed. You know, you weren't supposed to be my number, dude. You're going up. No shit. I was up there with you. Of course you're the target. You were just screaming at this kid a week ago. What are you talking about? You didn't see it? Oh, I withheld information. What information? This is common knowledge. How do you not know that? And Blue, speak up for yourself. Why the fuck is this guy? He's basically dead in the water. Why do you care? God, it's infuriating.
He came off like a little bitch when he kept trying to guilt her. Like, I just can't believe you would do me like that. And it's like, you're a piece of shit, dude. It's like, and you're absolutely right. This is her chance to just say, because a couple times she alludes to the fact that she might, she's looking out for her, but in her actions, she's never looking out for her. Like, she has yet to show us that she's looking out for her. She's always looking out for him. And he's such a little bitch. I hate those guys who make that the person who's looking out for them the most feel less than, because that's the only power that he has. Like, it's so funny because with such a strong mother, I'm surprised that that's what he does to the first person in his life in this game that we see that's female, that he's going to treat her like that, because you could tell, like, I think Suri must have raised him better than that,
Oh my God, yeah. And just every interaction, and we see it more in the episode with Felicia as well. And it's like all these people, like Felicia, and we saw it with Corey, where it's like, you're not, number one, you're not covering your tracks. You're getting caught in lies because you think that you have this ego in which you think you can't be wronged, and you keep shoving your foot in your mouth, when in actuality, you're going to come at Blue. Dude, you just got into a screaming match with Corey. Of course you're going to be the number one target. And when Corey won and Jared goes up, it was the quickest conversation. Jared said, "Hey, do what you got to do," and like kind of like went like this. And it's like, yeah, so you know what's going to happen. Don't come at Blue saying that, yeah, you're the target. Of course you're the fucking target. Like, what is happening? Like, why are you coming up? And that's just another thing where he has to feel a little bit of power, and he feels that ego because he has a chance to get back in the house. And so he's gonna make everybody feel bad, or like I'm gonna scare the house. Well, you better fucking win first of all. So, but that infuriated me.
It's infuriating. But I wanted to, no, totally. I totally agree with everything you guys are saying, but I wanted to ask you guys about, during the live eviction or the double live eviction, we don't see everything that's happening in terms of like them picking for, who's going to play in the veto. But Jared actually draws the house guest choice. And he mentions in this episode, when we see everything, not to choose his mom, and chooses, knowing it's an athletic competition, Matt, the number one athletic person in the house, thinking that, he's going to save me. And Matt, fucking runs circles around these people and grabs the veto and does not use it on him. So was it, obviously, looking back on it, maybe he should have just chose his mom and said, keep Matt out of the competition, so potentially he could win it. But what did you guys think of that decision?
Who came in second place on that? Like, was there someone else doing?
I believe
Jared was in second.
Jared, yeah.
Oh, okay. So then then that's why you're asking this question. Yeah. Okay. Well, clearly that was a bad idea. Yeah.
He literally picked an Olympian, like quite literally an Olympian, like somebody who we've all decided is the best in the country to represent our country. He's like, I'm going up against that guy. This guy, Scott, which
he wants to go, Pat. He wants to go against the best.
I fucking guess, dude.
No. He
sure.
shouldn't be reminded every time like they show Matt with his shirt off and like what kind of shape he's in. And then every time Jared had, I don't know why Jared keeps taking his shirt off. Like he should shower in a fully dressed, but like he's like eating in his bed with no shirt on. And it's like, dude, we just saw Matt and like ripped, and then we see your chubby ass.
And it's also like that's Big Brother doing some editing. If I were to see that, I'd be like, God damn it, dude, I got fucking. Where's my 24-hour fitness membership? But yeah, I thought like it doesn't make sense to me. Why? Like Jared has this idea that he has that just shows that he has absolutely no pulse on the game. He does not see the shit hitting the river. Like, how do you not see that? I know Matt is close with Suri, and so that he probably thought, oh well, but I just don't. I don't get why if I am going to win this competition, I know it's a physical comp. Why would I pick the best athlete if I have a chance of going up against anybody? Dude, pick Felicia. There's no way she's getting out of the fucking tub.
Throw Bowie in there.
Round.
I don't know.
No. And why would you?
So wait, let me ask you this. Did this happen or did I dream this? Right. So Matt wins, right? Jared asks him if he's going to take him up. He says yes, knowing that in 3 minutes he's about to lie to him, and then calls him back in the room to do a little foot tap dance. Like
I was
dancing on his grave.
Well, adding insult to injury, man. Come back here. Wait. He was walking out the door. He called him back in. We forgot to do our little foot dance thing or whatever it was that they did, and then sent him back out. So great.
And I guess what Jared's thinking is clearly he thinks he's going to use it on him. So in Jared's mind, that's not like a bad choice. But if you're not my final two, which I don't think he established something with Matt, I am not I'm not trusting anyone. Why would I pick the best athlete to go against? Because if Matt doesn't play, you win. And everything gets blown up. Or Suri goes.
The week before, he got busted lying to Matt. Like that, it all started with him lying to Matt. So
yeah, that's another thing. It's just like, these guys, you literally blew up your own game, and then you're gonna pick the best athlete to help you out. What are you doing? Like, you deserve to go home. Like, this is such an unpredictable.
And he did go home, but Big Brother, they're like, you know what? Let's give him another shot. And they're like, here's a zombie twist. We're going to bring Cameron and Jared back into the game for them to fight for their lives once again. The pulse on the house is obviously everybody, except for it seems like McCole and Suri want Cameron to win their way back in. And what do you guys think of the setup here? So there's 3 rounds of this competition on a balance beam, where they take breaks in between. So the final one is going to be on Thursday night, where we have Cameron leading at this point 14-9 with the balls, and then whoever wins the competition gets to choose whether they want to participate in another competition. A little confusing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't think I even realized that until you explained it, and I don't understand. What do you mean they get to decide whether or not they want another competition? Who would say, wait, I'll do one more just to prove I'm the winner?
I guess it's like where is it, and correct me if I'm wrong, they get to choose whether they're going to compete, and if you lose that competition, you go home and the other person stays, right?
That is my understanding, yes.
That's what I think is happening. So you can choose, like, I don't want to play, let Jared play. Like, if I'm Cameron, Jared play, and if he fucks it up, he goes home and I stay. Which,
what would you do in that situation?
Oh, I'm playing. You gotta play.
Not me, not against Jared. I let Jared play because he's an idiot.
That's okay. That's fair.
I don't even watch him play. I just start packing my bag and start walking back into the house, knowing full well I'm going back into the house.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Duke, what do you think about first of all, what do you think about the? I thought this is complete number one, completely unnecessary. This entire week-long thing, which I guess what they're doing is also. So I'm assuming Corey can play in the HOH competition on Sunday.
I think he has to, right? Otherwise, they're going to send him right back home.
Which that would suck, because if you win the double eviction and then get a week long, and then somebody you just evicted comes back, that sucks. So I hope Corey can play in the HOH. But what did you think about this? The balance being like these, like, what do you think about all this? Because I'm kind of like, I don't know. It seems
it's a lot. I like it because we got a couple scenes of in between the competitions. You could see a little bit of politicking between people, you know, Jag giving Cameron pointers to maybe help him out. Obviously, Sari giving Jared pointers, which it seems like he's still not listening to what she's saying. Like, just slow down. But you know, the 10-minute thing, it's pretty drawn out. But I think it's going to make for an exciting, you know, finish here for the live on Thursday. There's only one other time that I think we've seen somebody battle back in Big Brother, which I don't know if you remembered this in BB20, the late Caitlyn, where she had to recreate a 3D puzzle. And it was like literally 5 pieces, and she had 5 minutes to put it back together, and she failed it and was eliminated.
And if she failed it, she had 30 seconds and sat on the ground and said, I can't do it. It was basically done. All she had to do was go like this and press it all together, and it was done. And then the last 30 seconds, she cried on the floor. One of the biggest choke jobs ever. But
so I'm hoping to see something like that. It seems like Cameron has the edge, obviously, right now with a couple of balls ahead. You guys are obviously rooting for Cameron to come back in the game, I would imagine, right?
Would it make sense to go really slow if you're Cameron? Because one ball falls out, you're screwed. So, like, don't be competitive. Like, Jared has a long way to go before he gets anywhere near you. So you should go really slow.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, if I'm Cameron and the way Jared's been going, I'm like, I'm just gonna chill out for a second. For every one ball for every like 2 balls he does, I just need to do 1. And you know, like, I only need to outlast him 10 minutes. And Jared just is like, oh, let me go fast. Let me do, which this is one of those like, if you've ever watched Big Brother where this competition, you cannot go fast. And his mother's telling him, don't go fast. And he continues to do that. And it's just another instance where I'm like, why is this guy playing? This makes no sense. But yeah, so if I'm Cameron, I'm feeling real good.
I wanted to ask you guys, we talked about it a little bit before, but you know how when Jared kind of confronts Blue, she kind of folds a little bit. Jared came back into the house and confronted Miss Felicia, you know, and said, you know, you kind of did me dirty, but she fought right back. And, you know, Jared and Sari were going at Miss Felicia, which she did lie about some of the stuff that she was saying. But what did you think of that whole blow up between, you know, Sari and Jared and Miss Felicia?
I don't think that Felicia lied. I just don't think she remembered. I think it was such a, you know, whatever conversation with Jared. I just don't think she had any sort of memory of it. I remember it. And I thought, you know, I can't believe Felicia's still in this game, honestly. Like, cause she's not a threat physically. She's come close to blow up a couple of people's games just by accident, by giving away too much information. It's just, you know, typically the older folks leave early for some reason. You know, she's hanging out. I just don't understand it. I thought that Jared handled her a little differently than he does, you know, like Blue. Like, he went right to that first part where that first thing that he does is where he was trying to make her feel guilty. She fought back, and then he was sort of a little bit more respectful because his mother was standing right there, or maybe he realizes I'm talking to someone who's older and I should respect that. But Felicia is dangerously close to being evicted, I think, too, because she doesn't remember what she says. She says the wrong shit. She moans
Yeah.
in her sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot
Not,
of
not a,
a lot of cons going against Miss Felicia, but she's still here.
yeah. I thought it was like I get where Cerie's coming in, like Jared too, where it's like, okay, Miss Felicia, Miss Felicia clearly lied. But Miss Felicia also had a very valid point where it's like, you guys were about to bounce me for Izzy. Like when you guys were saying that you're not, no, everybody's lying. So like this whole thing with like, well, you did me dirty, you did me dirty. Stop. Because if Jared is gonna, if we're keeping track, everyone's pretty much lied to each other about everything. So I don't, and that's the thing that I don't understand where Jared comes into this house. He just got bounced 6-1. And then you're gonna come in and start fighting people. You're gonna start, what is if you come back in the game? Why would you come in with that mentality? That makes no sense to me. Cameron is playing smart where he goes, hey, having fun, blah, blah, blah. That's the way you deal with it. Jared being like, oh, what the heck? It goes up to number one, his showmance, and tries to embarrass her and make her feel guilty for something he should already know. And then Miss Felicia, where it's like, you were last week with Izzy. You were going to evict her. What do we stop? Like, what is
Cam didn't even like being around Jared when they were both by Julie. Like when he's trying to do like the tough guy handshake, like Cam's kind of doing it, but like he's not really into it.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Like when they're going back into the house, Julie's like, relax.
Yeah.
Sit back down in the chair.
Yeah. It's just like I don't. If you in every single instant that someone's battled back, they've always had to be like, hey, I bounce, that's the classic, I can't trust anyone. Yeah, no, obviously you have to start from scratch because number one, it's very easy for people to just pick right on you. Be like, all right, let's just get him out again. But if you play it right and you're like, hey, I'm a free agent, kind of like what Cameron's doing, I'll work with anyone. I obviously have no one. That's more enticing than Jared going up to Blue and Felicia being like, you did me dirty. It's like, shut up.
Realistically, is there a way that Cameron can make it anywhere close to the end if he comes back in, or do you think it will be a revolving door and he's just doomed to be voted out within the next couple of weeks if he doesn't win HOH?
I think Corey sees the value in him. If Corey were to, if Cam could win this week, if Cam could get back in and win, and then Corey's got another shot of winning, he could maybe hang out. But no, I don't think that Matt wants him around. I don't think Jag wants him around. I think Corey's the only one who sees the value in him.
Yeah. I agree. I think if Cameron gets back in, he's got to align with Corey in America. Like that is he has to, because and then he's got to target because he wants to target Suri, Felicia, Mimi, those players. Like if he can push that like side with the right people and hopefully they win. But we have little pockets of like, duos and kind of trios and stuff like that. So, if Bowie Jang were to win, I have no idea what would happen. So it's completely up in the air. It all depends on who wins power.
Another thing that I saw in the latest episode was right before the vote between Jared and Blue, there was 4 people that were in the bathroom that were talking about the vote. Suri, Miss Felicia, Nicole, and Bowie. And Suri was kind of cornered in a position where they kind of just told her what was going on. But I wanted to ask you guys, do you think that it was smart for the people, Miss Felicia, Nicole, and Bowie Jane, to vote Jared out in this specific instance? Or do you think they should have kept him in the game potentially as a shield and somebody that he would not nominate any of those people and vote out Blue, where maybe they don't have as good of a relationship with?
Looking at it now, I think that would have been the better choice. But I think that because of the way Jared's played, he screwed himself. But yeah, I think overall that would have been a better move.
Yeah, I think numbers wise, if I'm Mimi, who hasn't done anything, I'm gonna keep Jared around because if he stays, he's also going to be the target next week. He also has a very good shot of winning HOH. It's like, and that's somebody for me. And the same with Felicia. It's like if you're going to be aligned with Sari, and you like, Jared wouldn't come after Felicia. Now he would, but that being said, it's like these are two big competitors that you're hiding yourself behind. Why you would get one of them out when it's still like we're not, and there are other bigger threats on the other side of the house. It's like the Matt, the Jag, Corey, America. Those people are like competitors, And if I'm Felicia, it's like I can't beat them. You know who can't? Sari can't beat them in any physical comp. You know who could? Jared. So why would you not keep him? I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
But that was on Sari to get that point across, and she didn't. And I think that because it was her son, and it's that weird thing of, are they going to know that we're in, cahoots? And it's like, we already know. Like everybody in the house knows that we may not know that you're blood related, but we know that there's a special bond between the two of you, and there's probably a final two. But that was your chance. And I think it's because she's so close to him, she couldn't think straight. And because she's a legend, like that's why she's a legend. She should have been in that moment with, seconds and probably a stage manager calling them out to the living room, was still like, wait, so we're going to go with Jared? Like, so she didn't use her time wisely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Especially, and that's the fun part about double eviction. It's just mayhem. But I think if she were to get that point across, maybe she would have convinced them. But I do think that Felicia was kind of like, and I don't think they had Bowie Jang, because I think she was
Who does?
very Australia.
She's a free thinker, guys. Bowie Jane is her own person.
From
DJ
down
Bowie
under.
Jane.
That's the one thing that I do like about Nicole. Even though she hasn't done much, she does tell us in the DR who she is trying to align with, at least. Whereas Bowie Jane, we really don't know anything. But that also is kind of fun.
Yeah, but Bowie does
Good night,
like.
Julie.
Good night, Julie. Thanks, all my buddies in Australia. Yeah. Like, all right, Bowie, shut the fucking door. Come on. Moving.
So one of these guys is going to come back in the game, but the only other thing I wanted to ask you guys is, kind of sides have been formed, but do you guys see a move being made on the side that has power right now between the people that are in the group? So like the Matts, the Jags, the Americas, the Coreys. Do you see at any point somebody kind of turning on one another? Because there's only going to be a couple weeks left where, we're going to lose Jared or Cameron here. We're probably going to lose Sari or whoever comes back. Do you think that one person's going to be like, all right, I'm looking at this Olympian here. We need to get him out. It's getting close to the end. Or Jag or Corey.
I think America is going to make that call, and she's going to tell her boyfriend, and then it's going to be up to Corey, because that's how it worked before. So why wouldn't it work that way again? I think America is probably the smartest player next to Corey, but she's able to use, she's playing him well. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, I think if Cameron comes back, I think there's a pretty good chance that Sari can manipulate Matt. and kind of draw him over. You know, and I think she's like, I think if Jared leaves, I think Cerie's going to go overdrive, like really start using like her cunning and cutthroatness to try to separate Matt from that group, bring him over, and form stuff with Felicia, Mimi, really try to get the biggest physical guy to go out and win. And I think if I think that's going to be the move. And so I think if Matt, it would be interesting to see, because I think Matt can kind of be a little bit manipulative, like be manipulated. So I think that's going to be my guess. I think Cirie is going to try to get him over.
I think it's gonna. I understand why you think that, but I think at this point in the game, I think that too much has happened between Jared, Matt, the whole fight. That Matt's just like, I just want a group that's going to be solid, and I think he's going to stick with the Jag, Corey, America thing, because they haven't wronged him up to this point. He just wants to like make it another week. So I find it hard for Cirie to bring him back over, but I hope she does. It'd be great.